Yo, so in the last video we reviewed the Goro no Mi, and for the most part it was well received. However, a lot of people disagreed with the final rating, which was the tradability, arguing that Goro can pull things like mirror ads, 1v1 mirror, and things of that nature. I went back over the rating with a couple people and we all came to the agreement that Goro is only being traded like that because of the recent update, and none of us think that the tradability will last, but that's an entirely separate video for tomorrow because we have another topic for today. So in this video we'll be reviewing the Suna no Mi, also known as the sand fruit. But before we start, 95% of you guys are not subscribed, so if you enjoy, make sure to subscribe with post notifications on. I'm trying to hit 500 by the end of the month, so let's try to crack that. Also, if you want to catch us getting footage live and doing events, pull up on my Twitch, link is in the description. But without wasting any more time, let's get straight into it. So as usual, we'll be rating Suna's strength, utility, rarity, and tradability, starting off with strength. I was able to get two different accounts of Suna because one of my friends currently uses it, and a special viewer, Biso, was kind enough to donate me a Suna to use personally. I can honestly say that it exceeded what I expected from it. It has 3 block breaking moves, which I find to be useful on all occasions, especially since my main is a Gura user, so I'm not used to having to deal with people blocking. Now because my alt is a low level, I refer to of course Blues for the exact damage stats since he always does the maximum for each fruit. And while Suna can seem kind of overwhelming at first with its first move, it's actually good once you unlock every move and pair it with its designated weapon, Golden Hook. Golden Hook has a damage overtime with its poison, which some of you guys may find useful. On top of that, the Desert Storm move is a necessity for grinding and farming because it can hit multiple times for up to 500 damage. The Desert Spotter is also insane for grinding sea beasts and krakens because it can hit more than once depending on how many pillars you can get to hit a target. You can also fly while using all of your Suna moves by using Desert Flight, which I didn't know until I looked at the wiki. So that's also a unique trait that some of you heavy PvPers may be able to utilize with this fruit. The only downside is that some moves have long startups and substantial cooldowns that can slow down how quickly you fight, but it's still pretty good and I'm gonna have to give it an 8. The damage is good but very conditional on some moves, especially with Desert Spada, and you need to be in specific situations to utilize the entirety of the fruit. The Golden Hook is a good addition with the poison and it should be used in your kit if you're using it, but overall it's an 8 from me. So moving on to utility, the first thing to note is that Suna is a Logia, which means you will receive a Logia bar that enables you to phase through non-hockey physical attacks. As stated before, Suna also is one of the few fruits that's able to buff an item or a weapon, with its weapon being the Golden Hook. Suna with a Golden Hook allows the user to use Hook Dehydrate, which pulls a target and hits 11 times. You can also inflict poison damage by activating the first move on the hook, which turns moves and M1s into poison, inflicting hits temporarily. Desert Flight isn't the most useful on this fruit, but it can be used to get out of the water, so theoretically you can't drown with Suna. We already went over this, but it's also good for farming because of the good AoEs, but some of the moves are conditional, such as Spada being best used on large hitbox enemies like Krakens. Overall, it's a decent utility fruit and I'm gonna give it an 8. It can be used to farm, buff items, and avoid death, and all of which are pretty useful. Next is the easy part of our video, which is rarity. Suna is pretty well placed as a legendary and doesn't need to be moved up or down the rarity list. It's better than rares, but not good enough to be a mythical, therefore its rarity placement is a 10. That's always the easiest part of the video. But finally is our tradability. Suna is a decently tradable fruit, and I've personally gotten Kraken Core for it, which I needed anyway. It sits around Hiei on the trading value list, and based on the Discord, you can expect to pull fruits around its tier, including Goro and Hiei, and then everything below. I've also seen it pull other 1% drops with ads, so you can expect some decent trades from this fruit. As I state in every video, be careful when you're offering for Suna and other legendary fruits, as fruit values are going down because more players are farming and getting their own, especially with this great Kraken update. Be sure you're not overpaying or offering way too much. Overall, I'm gonna give its tradability an 8 because it is similar to the majority of the other legendary fruits and doesn't stand out too far. But overall, our rating comes up to an 8.5 out of 10, which I honestly think is pretty accurate. Suna is a very balanced fruit, and I'm glad that it's like that because we don't have any overpowered things coming into play. Fruits like Magu could arguably be mythicals if the devs wanted it to because of how good it is, but Suna is an extremely balanced fruit, so I don't really see any issues with it, and I think an 8.5 is a pretty good rating. If you guys agree, make sure to drop a comment on which you exactly agreed with. If you disagreed, obviously let me know in the comments as well. And if you enjoyed, make sure to drop a like. I'm trying to hit this 500 before the end of the month, so if you want to help me out, make sure to sub with post notifications on. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.